Advancements in quantum mechanical theories and new technologies that allow us to better perceive our universe and understand the answers to questions we never believed possible to answer seem to be developing every single day. As research scientists work to provide us with new insights and revelations to our universe that breaks the boundaries of what we ever thought was possible. These findings will often spawn new theories and enlightenments that will cause even the most stoic of people to need to sit back and collect their thoughts in order to come to terms with theories that are so mind-blowing. They are often groundbreaking in their own right. So today we will be visiting 5 theories about our very own universe that will absolutely blow your mind. Number 5. We exist inside a black hole. The Big Bang has been a scientific discovery that has led countless physicists and research scientists scratching their heads since its first appearance. When scientists pointed their sensitive measuring devices towards the sky and picked up on the large quantities of background radiation of the universe that helped to paint an enlightening picture as to the original moments in time that our universe began. More questions began popping into their heads than could be answered. The most significant question seemed to be the most recursive. If the Big Bang created the universe, then what created the Big Bang? This was a question that would go unanswered for many decades, and many others attempted to abandon the thought altogether. How can we see what happened before anything ever even happened? This thought would soon change after mathematicians would make a strange comparison between the Big Bang and an unlikely celestial body that was still regarded as nothing more than theory. Number 4. Black holes. Now, the theory behind black holes was more than just shrouded in mystery. And it was not until a man by the recognizable name of Albert Einstein helped humanity to realize that space and time are interwoven and connected in something we refer to as the fabric of spacetime. Interestingly enough, the mathematical theory of mass then being able to stretch and distort this fabric similar to that of a rock resting on a cloth led to an innovative idea relative to the limits of this distortion. It was in the math that scientists believed that if the mass of an object grew to a certain size, this would cause the fabric of spacetime to stretch and the mass, although finite, to be compressed into a zero-dimensional point with no volume, creating a singularity, or as we commonly refer to as a black hole, with a gravitational force so great that light itself could not escape it. Of course, initially many scientists believed that an infinite density was impossible, and that such an occurrence in the math was an obvious flaw that worked to prove the illegitimacy of general relativity, and that black holes could not possibly exist. Of course, this would come to change in time as better technology has allowed us to observe the effects of gravitational distortion and the large supermassive black hole located at the center of our galaxy. But an interesting comparison was made between the nature of black holes and the nature of the Big Bang in the meantime. It became obvious to quantum physicists that the math completely added up, that the Big Bang appeared to be the inverse perspective of the black hole, leading many physicists to believe that the creation of our universe very well could have been the creation of a black hole, and that existence and the stretching of spacetime as we know, in reference to the expansion of our universe, could merely be us existing inside of a singularity. Could it be possible, then, that we are merely a product of an outside aging universe, and that the original creation of our universe was from this event? Further evidence is provided when plotting out the fourth-dimensional graphing of the timeline of our universe that shows a growing expanse from a singularity stretching out similar to an infinite density could stretch the fabric of space-time, leading many more scientists to find this theory to be a legitimate answer to the question of the Big Bang. Number 3. An infinite loop. The world of infinites in mathematics have led to a tremendous amount of insights when discussing aspects of conceptual math. None more so than the advancements made by George Cantor and fellow great mathematicians. This had, however, led to many complications in the world of real-world applications relative to the concept of infinites. A sphere, in this regard, could be considered an object with infinite points on its surface. And when the math is worked out correctly, one could in perfect mathematical theory create 2 perfect spheres with the same mass, size, and density of the original sphere. This is referred to as the Banach-Tarski paradox, and though many scientists had initially regarded the concepts of this application as impossible in the real world, the math was right. It was not until many decades later that numerous researchers had begun noticing strange theories coming to light. The CERN Institute, during its testing of particle collisions and subatomic particles breaking down, began noticing a creation of more particles than initially started with. In fact, a paper had recently been published, believing that not only was the Banach-Tarski paradox applicable in the real world, but that many of the calculation errors and research at CERN helped to prove that this phenomenon was already naturally occurring. If this research is correct, it could mean that the traditionally held theories of the laws of conservation of energy could be entirely incorrect, and that new particles could be cloned from existing particles naturally. This, alongside the existing mind-blowing theory that we exist inside a black hole, could very well mean that every time a new black hole is created, a universe imperfect copy of our own could be created as well. This could very well mean that we are stuck in what appears to be an infinite loop, as the universe forms and dies countless times, and falls into a black hole and restarts all over again. Of course, since the very laws of the universe are unchanging, this would mean that all of the factors relative to creation would stay the same, and ultimately create a universe that would play out exactly as our own. Could it be that you have seen this very video over 1 trillion times already? Regarding new theories, it could very well be possible. Number 2. Multiverse Theory. One startling revelation made by quantum physicists that has converted even the most optimistic individuals into nihilists is the concept of the multiverse theory. When pondering the mathematical implications and probability of the universe forming, as well as other theories in regard to dimensional mathematics, physicists began positing a thought experiment forward. Why did our universe form with these specific rules? With these specific numbers and laws of mathematics, scientists believe that the odds of this occurring are so astronomical that it is far from probable that every variation of every possible universe exists to allow such occurrences. What is even more interesting is that researchers believe they have evidence of the multiverse theory occurring in the natural world, given the complete probabilistic determination of quantum mechanics and its properties, such as Heisenberg's uncertainty principle and the formation of virtual particles. This could very well mean that every possible variation of every universe and every decision ever made could more than exist, and could potentially one day be explored. Philosophically, this idea could lead to newer outlooks of nihilism and absurdism that may lead people to discuss the meaningful implications of decisions if every possible decision exists infinitely throughout the multiverse, making nothing unique, meaningful, or even significant in any possible way. Number 1. Last Thursdayism. Continuing this idea in regards to a thought experiment put forth originally as a joke, but now proven to be a legitimate point of debate. Last Thursdayism explores further the absurdist crisis in regards to the multiverse theory and its mathematics. It states that everything that currently exists in the universe, and that the universe itself was merely created last Thursday. One could attempt to argue that there is inherent proof of time existing before this point, and that the universe has indeed been around a lot longer than that. But any evidence provided is not objective proof, and is rather subjective interpretation. If you have a video recording of a time before last Thursday, one could argue that the device, the data, and everything merely popped into existence to give the illusion of the universe having been around much longer than it actually has. This could be a counter-argument for any point raised against the philosophies of last Thursdayism, which could include video evidence, sensitive measuring equipment, natural phenomenon, occurring actions, and even your own memories. What is all the more mind-blowing about this theory is that it mathematically works. Given the concepts provided in the multiverse theory of every universe of every possible variation popping into existence, it could very well be the case that our instance of space and time was merely created last Thursday, and any other evidence to argue against the fact could merely have been popped into existence as well. This concept ultimately argues that only the here and now is real, and that only you could ever know that you exist. This ultimately begs the question, is anything we have ever experienced actually real, or the product of a universe that just popped into existence last Thursday? Given the mind-blowing theories, we are quite certain that your mind is teeming with questions when it comes to the nature of ourselves and our universe. Be sure to share your answers and questions below in the comment section and let us know what is racing through your mind. That was it for today. We hope you've enjoyed the video. If so, please give us a thumbs up by liking the video and consider subscribing to our channel Martian Caveman to watch more videos like this. We'll see you in the next episode of The Martian Caveman, where we'll try to uncover the mysteries of the universe. Stay tuned.